All right. A very pleasant good evening to us from the Class of Steele family. You're very welcome. First, I want to identify the person of His Royal Majesty. Your Majesty, you are very welcome this evening to the Class of Steele. I equally want to identify the person of His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers. And again, Your Excellency Dr. Ewers, you're welcome. Your Excellency Adiola Chukwemeka, Your Excellency Dr. Charles Odyanchi, you are welcome to this evening's class. We have a special guest amongst us this evening from London, the guest of His Royal Majesty, Edwin Madu. Your Majesty, please, for the rest of the Class of Steele and the world that is viewing us live on YouTube and our social media platforms, please introduce your guest to the Class of Steele, Your Majesty. You're welcome. Your Majesty, on mute, Your Majesty.
Unmute. Good evening once again, Your Excellency Dr. Steele. Good evening, Your Excellency Dr. Ronald. Good evening, every other excellencies in the house this evening. I know it's already another special evening. With me is my right-hand chieftain here in London, the Lioness Ada Ejiagamba. She's a chieftain, she's a mentor, she's a presenter, an MC, a well-known figure here, and a nurse based here in UK, London. So she's here this evening, maybe today as a guest, but really I want her to be a part of us. So having said that, let me not take our time. Over to you, Your Excellency, please. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, Your Majesty.
Yeah, I would have wanted you to add your voice, whom you are actually.
Yes, okay. I want to, Linus, we just want to welcome you, Linus, to the Class of Steele. Unmute yourself. I just greet the Class of Steele family, both here in the class live and those that are in our platform on YouTube and our international media. Please go ahead, Linus. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Dr. Steele. I want to say a big thank you to my Igwe, we call him Igwe in where we come from, my Eze, that is in person of His Royal Majesty, Igwe Edwin Ifanye Madu. Ogene Nkabo Numo Ogele Kingdom. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be amongst these powerful men and women that matters in the society. I want to appreciate His Excellency Dr. Ewers. I want to appreciate all the members of Class of Steele for giving me this privilege and opportunity to share from the well of knowledge and wisdom what you enjoy here. I want to encourage people out there, if you want to be part of this, you are very welcome. You are very, very welcome. But just wait, let me enjoy it tonight. I'll come back and tell you how it feels, so that when I talk from evidence. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Your Majesty, when we go on international tour with Zionists, I promise you, I don't just want to go on international tour throughout Europe and this with you as we are planning for these meetings. We have to definitely do our comedy routines. I hope you have that they know that we're comedians. Zionists, please let them know we're going to be doing our comedy routines throughout the UK and Europe.
It's going to be wonderful. When that time comes, you will know that we have arrived. You can imagine the combination of the lioness and the lion and the Steele and the Excellency. Oh my word. Sometimes people think people called His Excellency or doctors are very serious people, you know, all they do is book and be serious. And there are some other sides to them. You will see it when you hear His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele Roa on the comedian level. Wait, watch this space.
Oh gosh, you know what, Class of Steel, we're building, we're growing, and this evening I'm excited to have Lannis with us. As a matter of fact, I personally would rather shut down class and give her one of the Friday nights. I say, Lannis, Friday night comedy night is you. We're gonna have you for one of our Friday nights.
Yeah.
So we look forward to it. Come on, Class of Steel, celebrate her our way. This is how we do it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to jump into this evening's class. We, in the Class of Steel, we've been dealing with commitment. We've been talking about all the rudiments of commitment. So join with me this evening as we continue this evening's class with you based on commitment. We're talking about commitment, and we run through quite a number of things about commitment. And the First Lady has already instructed me that she wants me to kind of quickly run through it. So let me do that officially. I know. So let me kind of take it back to the jump straight up to the beginning, that we can just kind of give you a quick run through, because we want to get on to part 2 of this series. Watch the video in part 1 of this series on our YouTube channel. Incidentally, for those of you who are here with us, this is the link for part 2. Click on the link. That's the link that is giving you this one that is being recorded live right now. And when you go on that one, it will also give you the other one as well for part 1. So you will be able to pick up. So bear with me, because I'm just going to run through this quickly, because part 1 was already done. What we covered in part 1, we covered commitment, and it's the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. And we went on to discuss different elements of commitment and the definitions of commitment. And it rests on 3 main ideas: giving the best of oneself, going the extra mile, and not abandoning the situation you find yourself in. And we also broke down some other aspects of commitment. Commitment is nurtured. Commitment is not won or created overnight. Takes time, takes relationship and progress, and commitment is based on a trust. So we looked at that in part 1. Then we looked at causes of non-engagement. What would cause individuals not to be committed? And we looked in depth at poor leadership, things like lack of purpose. We look at lack of open communication, disorganization, lack of work-life balance. We look at a number of things that cause a lack of commitment from individuals. And then we looked at the importance of a commitment. And then we also focused in part 1 on 3 types of commitment. We have the cause, the challenge, the people. Some people are committed to a cause. And when they're committed to a cause, this gives their life meaning by what they're working further, something in which they believe strongly in. Causes may be based on religious principles, ethical standards, or environmental issues. So we looked at those that were based on cause. Then we looked at those that were committed because of a challenge. They give their life meaning by investing their energy in a chosen hobby. A challenge may be physical, like climbing a mountain, athletic, like tennis, intellectual, like chess or bridge, artistic, like painting or music, anything that gives you a challenge and you get committed to it. And we discussed that at length in part 1. You should go and have a listen to part 1 on our YouTube channel. Then we also looked at persons who are committed to people. And in commitment to people, you have, for example, persons who depend on you. They rely on us, and that's our families, our spouses, a team. If you're in a business or corporation, your commitment is based on the team. And we looked again in depth in that level. And we also made a very important statement: unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. Peter F. Drucker. And we stopped at this particular slide right here. And now we're going to go on to part 2 of commitment. So thank you so very much for that quick running through with me in part 1. And if you didn't get to see part 1, please go and see the video. It goes in depth and at length to give a whole lot more information about the part 1 aspects that we've just quickly ran through. Actions commitment require. Let's look at some actions that commitment require. Commitment requires a balance of 2 behaviors or actions. One is supporting and the other is improving. Let's look at them. Focus on what is important. This is supporting. And then we have look for a better way. The balance of the 2, focusing on what is important based on being committed, and improving is look for a better way. How do we marry these 2? So we have individuals that when they come into an organization, they're not supporting. They come into an organization, and I think I would more dare to say they're inquiring. They're looking to pick it to pieces, pick it apart, and they're not supporting. And persons who are not supporting, they don't have the sense of commitment, because you need to support something in order to be committed to it. If you come to something and you're focusing on the negatives and focusing on the things that don't work and the problems, what happens is you diminish commitment. You diminish a joy and a passion in being a part of that organization or that team, and therefore you lose commitment. But when you come focus on what is important, then you are a supporter. And then to improve, you look at better ways. So there's some things that you might see in an organization, on a team, that are not up to par, but you look at ways that you can improve them, add value. I think that this would be a good idea, or that would be a good idea to add value to the organization. Other things is lead by example. In a supporting role, lead by example. As the mentor for the class of Steele, I think it would be so inappropriate and distasteful for me as the mentor in the class of Steele, and I show up late. Everybody else is here on time and early, and I'm late. Also, we look at things like how I govern and how the class of Steele management look at the class of Steele. We look at how we carry ourselves, because we're going to be on social media. We're going to be on an international audience where some of our classes are public, and individuals are going to have the opportunity to see us. How do we want to be seen? How do we want the world to view us? So we lead by example. I make it a habit that I always dress appropriately, professionally. I'm always on time, never starting the class of Steele late. And I'm always prepared. And the presentation is excellent. We like to make sure that when we do something, you do it professional. You do it with excellence, with appeal and taste that others are going to be thinking, I like that. It's really nice. It's well presented, it's well packaged, and it looks good. And then the other thing is learn from others. I am blessed, and we in the class of Steele are very blessed to have persons like His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, a professional in his field and very accomplished. And it's such a pleasure to have him in the class of Steele. I learned from him in light of his protocols, the way he carries himself. Equally, His Excellency Dr. Charles and Chukwemeka Steve, all of us in the class of Steele add value, and also things that we're not aware of, cultural dynamics. I lift my hat off to His Royal Majesty Edwin Madu, the King amongst us. And it's such a pleasure to learn from him and to appreciate his culture, the diversity, and also the understanding of the way things work and the way things are done in different cultures across Africa. So it is also important, in light of improving, we're opened to learning from others. Reward success. The Class of Steele is one of the organizations that at the ending of our year, we have acknowledgement time, a time of acknowledging those who played roles, who made a part of the Class of Steele a success. We even acknowledge Zoom, the technology that we use, because without the platform, we can't be successful. So you look at rewarding success. And that's important to keep a person committed. You reward the success. And then improving is challenge the current expectations. I welcome the partnership of the Class of Steele with the Lioness and His Royal Majesty and other international partners that we're going to be bringing out of Nigeria when the Class of Steele goes on tour. And our portfolio has many things that are wrapped up in it. We have the aspect of public speaking for certain events, conferences, and seminars. We have mentoring. We also look at mental health in the Class of Steele. But we also have now an added attribute that we call our fun time in the Class of Steele. So many individuals look at us as leaders and they think there's no funny bone existing in us. But I think we beg to differ. We do have a funny bone that exists. And I'm excited that Lioness and myself, we're going to be taking the Class of Steele on tour with comedy as well. So you're going to have the opportunity to make light of learning. Come on, somebody. Learning doesn't have to be boring and dull and so routine and mundane, but you can also have a light moment of laughter, of comedy. And Lioness and myself, we're going to put together some amazing scripts for you and bring them all throughout the UK and also on our social media platforms for sure. So I actually look forward as we continue to develop that aspect behind the scenes so that when we put it on the table, of course, the expectations that you had of us will be equally challenged and greater. So look at managing disrespect. Manage disrespect. This is very important. I smile when I see the First Lady input this one, because disrespect is a very, very fine line when you are a part of an organization. As a matter of fact, I dare to talk about my dear brother Chris Rock that received a bit of disrespect. And I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to join that rhetoric. That's when me and Lioness get on our rightful platform to deal with it. The first thing, Lioness, the first disclaimer that we have to put is any person, please, that you're going to be a part of our audience, please put your hands on your lap and make sure that they remain there. And if you get up from your seat, unless you're going to the toilet or for a drink, security will stop you. I think that so you look at managing disrespect. How do you manage disrespect as a leader? How do you do it? As a leader, we're going to have people that will disrespect us. They will. They'll disrespect us because They might not be culturally appropriate in their presentation. And sometimes cultural appropriateness, if there's such a word, can be limited when you're not accustomed to the diaspora or the region that you're in. And you can cause disrespect. Some disrespect can be directly or indirectly. But whichever way, we need to learn how to manage it. As a mentor or a speaker, I have to be very careful when we speak on our platform as a leader, because I could disrespect others without even realizing that I'm doing it. And sometimes individuals that get disrespected, they lose commitment. They leave. They don't have the culture or the ability to talk about the disrespect. Dr. Steele, you have offended me when you spoke, and I want to talk to you about it. Can we have a meeting with the management about this? That's appropriate action. That's appropriate action that builds commitment. But if you are a person prone to getting disrespected, or any time that you're disrespected, directly or indirectly, deliberately or lack of conscious thinking, then what happens is you just leave and run away. But here's something that happens, interestingly, why I want to focus on this particular aspect. Most people that don't know how to handle disrespect lose opportunity. It's important to note that if you don't learn how to handle disrespect professionally, you lose opportunity. I could bet you that Chris Rock is smiling to the bank and to the shows, but Will Smith is cowering somewhere, or that other person. So you get what I'm saying? Because what happens if you get disrespected, how you respond is going to determine how you're viewed. So look at how you handle disrespect. And as ambassadors, this is going to happen to us often. As ambassadors, as leaders, we will be disrespected. As a matter of fact, you should say that. You should raise your right hand and say, I will be disrespected. And if you think that I'm cursing you by doing that, I am not. I'm not. I'm actually trying to say that if you go out there expecting it, you prepare your attitude and your character. How will I respond if I'm disrespected? You're prepared for it. What will I do? Am I going to jump up and let go expletive? Leave my, what am I going to do? How am I going to make people see me? Or am I going to stand up and have a light chuckle and carry on? So please take that note in your spirit as ambassadors and join this train of commitment. Because some people get disrespected, unfortunately, and they miss the opportunity that was coming next as a result of the actions they take. Risk-making changes. I'm sure that our dear brother Chris has learned a lesson. All of us need to learn lessons. And Lioness, the lesson that I learned there that I will tell you as a comedian and us as speakers, the lesson that I learned in this regard, make changes, is I will make sure that we have two security that are right at the front of the stage, waiting for anybody that is coming up there. As soon as they come, we'll catch them so that we can carry on with the show and it doesn't get stopped, Lioness. So we have to put things in place so that we can continue to do what we're doing and not miss our opportunity of being committed to our skill and committed to the task that has been given to us. So we'll have security that is there to make sure that you can see the security in uniform. I see Lioness is having a laugh in the class this evening. Lioness, leave me alone. So let's go on. Supporting. Genuine support develops a commitment in the minds and hearts of others. Genuine support. It leaves, it develops a commitment in minds and hearts, not just minds, minds and hearts. This is accomplished by focusing on what is important and leading by example. What's important in your organization? What's important in your decisions that you've made? What's important in your team? It is not uncommon for people to be either confused as to what is important or lose sight of it over time. Supporting means concentrating on what adds value, spotlighting what is working, and rewarding others who are focusing on what is important and leading by example. This is very important. A crucial aspect of true support is standing up to those who would undermine commitment, those whose words or actions show disrespect. Anytime that you have individuals that their words or actions show disrespect, stand up against them. Because at the end of the day, the class of Steele is going to touch so many subjects, and I am going to rub so many people the wrong way. I look at Professor Dr. Charles, and I remember when he came into the class of Steele, we locked horns together. I love Professor Charles. He's an excellent teacher, excellent leader, but an excellent student. Why? Because he participates, he contributes, and he receives his correction, and he gives the authority to cause us to be better individuals as we grow together. It's all about supporting. Don't take things personal, because at the end of the day, we are all developing together. So it's all about supporting what is happening. What is the team doing? Are you a supporter of the team? It's important in that supporting role. And then the next role that we looked at prior is improving. Improving stretches our commitment to an even higher level. When I look at the class of Steele, we have 100-year vision. I will dare to say there are some things when we started, they didn't work. They didn't work. What did I have to do? Improve. You have to improve. In order to stay committed, you improve. You add value to what already exists. You look at your comedy show, you look at your routine, you look at your presentation, you look at your teaching, you look at you as an individual, and you see the things that can cause you to improve. And you work on those things. You improve what you have so that you can be better. You listen to your critics. Some persons think that critics are your worst enemies. I dare to say critics are the best persons to have around, because they laugh at what you do that might not work. And what do? Are you going to keep doing it, or are you going to improve on it, add value to it? And the next time you present it, you knock them out of the ballpark. Why? Because you add value to what you had, and it is now improved. It's not the same thing. Of course, you might have individuals in your team. As a leader, for example, when you are leading and you have a team, it can be very, very challenging. Because if you recognize your team are not with you, they're not supporting you, and they're getting tired and weary, what do? Do you decide you're going to throw your hands in the air and throw in the towel? Or do you improve on what you have? Do you listen to their comments, their contributions, their submissions, and improve? This is important. A lot of governments and leaders will be better served if they were open enough to receive criticism and improve and carry their commitment to their people that they govern to a higher level. Commitment means a willingness to look for a better way and learn from the process. It focuses on eliminating complacency, confronting what is not working, and providing incentives for improvement. What are the incentives for improvement that you could give to your team? I don't need to give him anything. Don't I pay him his salary? Don't I pay him his salary? He gets his salary. What more does he need? How many persons they have individuals that they're not interested in how they're faring, how they're managing, how things are for them. And they don't give them an opportunity to add value. They have no incentives. The spirit of improving is rooted in challenging current expectation and ultimately taking the risk to make changes. These changes are based more on optimism in the future than dissatisfaction in the past. What does that mean? What does it mean? I'm dissatisfied with what has been happening in the past. Very dissatisfied. So what do? Do I make changes that are going to be based on my dissatisfaction in the past, or do I make changes based on the optimism of a brighter future? Come on, somebody, wave at me. You're in your organization and you want it to be better. You have a strong team, a big team. You want it to be bigger. You're connected to millions of people all around the world. You want to be connected to billions. You want to improve. You want to grow. You want to expand. Your name and your brand is already great. You want it to be greater. What do? You look at things optimistically. Ooh, if I do this, I believe this would work in my favor. If I do that, that might add value to me. I have individuals that they're not team players. They're happy to be lone rangers. Me and I, and that's it. I love team players. The reason why I love team players is because when I get tired or when I feel weary and you have a team, the job doesn't end. The vision doesn't die. But how many of you know that when the visionary that is a lone ranger dies and he didn't prepare anybody else, he didn't bring anybody alongside of him? How many of you know that a lot of times when those visionaries die, the vision dies? It fades away. Do you know when His Majesty and Lioness and myself set up on our circuit, it's going to be a trio. If you don't see one because one isn't well, we still have the show. The show must go on. It creates a synergy. It creates a dynamic duo or trio that is going to work for the long haul. But if it is only Dr. Steele alone, when I can't make it, show's done. Class is done. I thank God for His Excellency Dr. Ewers, His Majesty Adiola Stephen, my wife, the First Lady. I thank God for the Class of Steele team. His Excellency Architect Olusegun Olukoya, our Youth President, Her Excellency Doreen Barunji, our COO. I thank God for the team. Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu for the Ghana and the West African region. If we didn't have a team, the Class of Steele would not make it. There are days that I got overwhelmed. There are days that I felt frustrated and tired. And I asked myself, is it worth it? But when you have a team and you ask yourself those questions, the team can answer you. Come on, somebody. Come on. Your team helps you to stay committed. Your team helps you to improve. Don't be looking at the past failures. Let's be optimistic. What can we do to improve on what went wrong? What can we do to improve on what they're laughing at you about right now? How can we improve it? So let's now look at the supporting between combination and improving. There's a supporting aspect of it. The two of them working hand in hand, supporting and improving. The combination of supporting behavior and improving behavior are the ingredients of true commitment. Listen to what I just said. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you want to ask yourself, what would make me committed to this? I'll tell you what will make you committed to it. You support it and you look at improving it. Before I go into the reading there, I want to say this. When you look at supporting something, which is the first step, it means that you see the positives. That's the first thing. You see the positives. When you look at improving it, the negatives obviously are going to come up. Come on, somebody. Negatives will come up. They will. Difficulties and challenges will come up. But when you are improving mindset, when those times come, you look at improving on what's good. You look at redefining and refocusing. If these two issues are separated, neither will sustain your overall commitment. Commitment is a personal thing that each of us must face every day. Every day. It's personal. I cannot determine how His Excellency Dr. Ewers is going to feel when he gets up in the morning. I can't determine that. I can't determine if he has a conversation after a week of rest or a week away and he's talking to individuals that are hammering and knocking down and pulling down and tearing down the car. I can't determine how he's going to show up the next week. No, I can't determine it for nobody. Each person has to determine that for themselves. I can't judge my wife's commitment to the class of Steele based on mine. We're different. We see different things. We look at different things. We're in it for different reasons. The strength of my reason might be different than the strength of hers. So commitment is unique to you as an individual. It's separate. And it's something you must face every single day. You must face it. Being committed and staying committed is a mindset that each of us must address in our lives if we want to become successful. I want to say that again. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. I set my mind to do this. How many of you ever went to the supermarket and you got off the bus and you have all of these bags and you're walking from the bus stop to your house and your hands feel like they want to fall off? Come on, somebody. You're not going to leave the heavy bag of water that you're carrying at the side of the road and walk home with the rest of your groceries. You are committed to getting your groceries to your house. How much ever pain it causes you, however your shoulder hurts you, how much ever the fingers get pain, you are committed to getting that load home. So you will make sure it gets there. How many of you ever drive your car and something happens? You're not going to get out of your car because it gets a flat and just say, forget this car and just move on. You're committed to your car. You pay your insurance. You paid for your car and you own it. You're committed to it. So when you get out, you have two options. You're going to call the AA Or you're going to get out and get down on your knees and take out that spare wheel in spite of however you're dressed and whatever you're wearing and change that spare wheel or ask somebody to help you. Why? Because you are committed to your car and you're not going to leave it for somebody to vandalize it, to your family. Because you have challenges with your children while they're growing up. You're not going to abandon your family. So many people who lack commitment in their families do that. It's unfortunate because they lack the ability to be in a supporting role. They lack the ability. So the mindset is crushed because they're only in it for if it works good. Some marriages get torn apart because of finances. Bro, you were rich when I met you, but now you're broke. You're not good. You're not good for my brand. You're not good. So they go their own way. Why? Because of the mindset. They're not committed. They're not looking at improving on what exists and what has potential. So the mindset is all wrong. I'm going to look at some dynamics of commitment, and we're going to take this to the next level because I want you to kind of grasp where we're going. I'm speaking to all of us, including myself, and all of us have things that we are wrestling with commitment to. All of us. Every one of us. Let's be real about it. Some of us are wrestling with commitment to fulfilling a task. We're wrestling with it. Am I going to stick with this foolishness that is frustrating me and annoying me? Am I going to, you grit your teeth. You count the costs. You're weighing it out. Am I going to stay committed to this person that is in business with me, or we're working on a project? Am I going to stay committed to them? All of us are wrestling with some dynamics of commitment at some level. I even have individuals that are wrestling with being committed to the class of Steele. Of course, because it means something. It means your time. It means your resources. It means that you're going to be putting some energy, commitment, dedication into something. Is it worth it? You're wrestling with commitment. All of us wrestle with it. I wrestle with commitment as a leader. You wrestle with commitment as a leader. You wrestle with people that are going to say, why are you going to sit down and listen to this small boy talk to you like this? Do you know who you are now? Does this small boy know who you are? I honor His Royal Majesty Edwin Madu Ize Igwe. I honor him. When he first became a member of the class of Steele, it was really difficult for me to a degree, because I know that I hit hard on commitment and dedication, and I hit hard. And because I'm a leader and a leader of leaders, it doesn't matter if you're a king, a queen, a prime minister, a president. I am the same person. I do not see His Majesty when he's in the class of Steele only as Igwe. I see him as one of my students and one of my mentees. And His Majesty sees me as his mentor. Why? Because that's my role. And I can't be intimidated with his office or his position, because then it devalues the strength of character that I will have as a leader. But each time I finish class, I'm going to be honest in humility. I, in humility, go to His Majesty sometimes and I say, Your Majesty, please, I hope I didn't offend you in any way today, because I don't want to be impartial in my leadership, but I don't want to disrespect you ever, Your Majesty. And as a result of that, we've built a great relationship where nothing is taken personal. Nobody sits down thinking they're greater than anybody else. I am learning as I teach. So let's look at some dynamics of commitment. The first dynamic is the personal dynamic. Of course, there is the personal dynamic. The personal dynamic of commitment refers to a promise or an assurance. It is one of the most important personal qualities that any employer in the industry would expect. One must have the inclination to fulfill one's professional commitment at all costs. At all costs. One must have the inclination to fulfill one's professional commitment at all costs. This is the personal dynamic. Often, adherence to commitment may cost you your time, effort, or other resources. It will cost you. Don't be fooled and thinking commitment is not going to cost you. It will. Write that down, as they would say, put that in your pipe and smoke it. It will cost you. But the greatest personal satisfaction is derived from delivering results and keeping up to your commitment. Let me say this. Let me say this. One of the things that I pride myself with, why His Majesty and I are close, as a matter of fact, let me ask His Majesty, Your Majesty, could you kindly unmute yourself? Let me pull on you. Your Majesty, why are you committed to the class of Steele or me as a young man? Why are you? What is your reason for your commitment, Your Majesty? If I could trouble you, unmute yourself, Your Majesty.
Yeah, Excellency, good evening once again. I'm committed to the class of Steele 1 for improvement. I'm learning, okay? Secondly, I am committed because when I see the quality, the capability, the capacity of what is going on in the class of Steele, then the personality of the driver okay, and the team, it makes me to be committed. It becomes like a worship. If I miss the class, I'm like, oh, I've missed a great thing, actually. So that's what it is. And that's the way it goes.
Your Majesty, one of the things that committed me to you as my friend, that I will, if you say it, it's done. Your Majesty, when we first met, we set an appointment. And I was testing you, but I think you were testing me too with timekeeping. Go on, Your Majesty. That
is it. I told you that's the because in Nigeria, but forget about our time. In Nigeria, we said punctuality is the main thing. So when you're not punctual, starting from an appointment, that shows you there's a lack of commitment. So a commitment, one has to be very, very punctual. You'll be honest to yourself, even if you're running late. Most times you call me, I'll be there 10 minutes. I'll say, I'm there already. You've been honest, you're trying to tell me, oh, this is the way things are. This is the way we're supposed to move.
Okay. When we go to church together, we're early for church. We show up for church together. When we go to meetings, we show up together on time. You build relationship based on persons of like mind, like passion, character. Your Excellency, Dr. Ewers, you're our chief of protocol. Why are you committed to the class of Steele? What commits you to the class of Steele?
Commitments, we're in a work in progress, and commitments, it helps us to learn, it helps us to develop, it also helps us to mature. In life, we mature when we learn, when we do, and put it into practice. So I have learned, and on top of it, remember, we class ourselves friends for life. When you met me many years ago, you said to me, friends, I will never get over that. We're friends for life. And so therefore, there's a commitment in everything. Anything you ask, anything, just like His Excellency, Her Majesty said, but as you said, it is done. You can go away and go and travel and said, Dr. Ewers, carry on the classes comfortably. So a lot of things is commitment. Had I not been committed, I don't think you and Lady Steele, and you have a wife there, the engine room of the class of Steele, she would have said, no. But she observed, she watched, and she nurtured. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. Why I'm committed to you is because you have done something for me that I will tell you. When we were going to Dubai and for that conference, and you were saved and prepared to go to see your mom and your family. Right. And you said to me, Your Excellency, Dr. Steele, I want to support you and the class of Steele, and I want to be there. Mm. And you went to Dubai, and to this day you have not gone to Jamaica yet. But I guarantee you, by the grace of God, this year you're going to go to Jamaica. But that level of commitment for me makes me look and say, there is only one person that if I say the class of Steele, I'm dropping the ball. My wife is the first person, but Your Excellency, you're the second. I'm telling you straight, because you have given me a level of commitment and respect and honor. And that's what you need in a team, in a business, in an organization, in a government, in a ministerial party. That's what you need. And that's what we in the class of Steele want to be examples of. That's what we want to mentor. That's what I want to enforce in our leaders. That's what I want to enforce in our young people. Develop that attitude, develop that character, and you will have relationships that will last you a lifetime. And they will serve you well in times you are not able to deliver yourself. Dr. Charles, my professor, why are you in the class of Steele? And interestingly, you were invited by His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, and it took us a while for us to bring you on board. Why are you committed to the class of Steele, Dr. Charles?
Yes, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele, I am committed to the class of Steele because I have taken my time to view the class of Steele, and I see where they are going. And that is exactly where I want to go. And then I am committed to the class of Steele because I made it as a matter of policy, not to.
Ah, boy, have you noticed? I don't think that they want us to hear that policy. I think he was looking at his political appointment that he's aspiring towards. I was thinking about policies. Let's wait for Dr. Charles to come back as we go forward. But I
trouble the water from where I drink.
Ah, wait, Dr. Charles.
Drink and have not been commitment is like troubling the water.
Dr. Charles, start from...
Did you hear me at the time? It's like you...
Start from policy.
I should come again.
No, you should just start from policy. I have made it a policy.
Okay, it's a matter of policy. I made a policy never to trouble a water that I drink from. And the class of Steele is a precious water that gives me quenching of my thirst, because they carry the vision that I actually have been nursing from where I can get afloat in this kind of a vision. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much. We're going to take some more comments later down, but let me get back to our screen share because we're looking at the personal dynamic. So the personal dynamic is based on you. His Excellency Dr. Ewers is here for a different reason than Professor Dr. Charles Onyechi. His Royal Majesty is here for a different reason. His personal reason for being committed is different. And you have to define why are you committed personally. And remember, it's going to cost you. Don't forget that. Personal satisfaction is derived from delivering results and keeping up your commitments. Let's look at the organizational dynamic. The other dynamic is organizational. So we have the personal aspect, but now we have the organizational dynamic. Organizational commitment is highly valuable, extremely valuable. Studies have highlighted that commitment has a great impact on the successful performance of an organization. Commitment. This is because a highly committed employee will identify with the goals and values of the organization, has a stronger desire to belong to the organization, and is willing to display greater organizational citizenship behavior, i.e., a willingness to go over and beyond their required job duties. How many of you know there are a lot of individuals that they get a job or they become a part of an organization, and while they're part of the organization, they say, I will do my 8 hours, but when my 8 hours is up, I'm done. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. I'm not interested. Because they're just in it for what they're going to get, their wages or their salary. There's no total commitment. There's no total dedication to the organization. And you find that persons that operate like that, they don't last very long. They're not citizens of the organization. What does it mean when you say a citizen of the organization? It means that you belong there. You if it's going good, you're there. If it's going bad, you're there to see how you can make it better. If it is failing, you're looking to see how you can improve it. If it is falling apart, you're looking to see which piece you could grab a hold of and pull together to make it work. There's some corporations that during the COVID period, they really saw who was committed to the company because they had to cut salaries and wages. And there were some employees, they were asking them, would you take a salary cut so that we can, we can keep the company floating? Would you work from at home and go the extra mile? A lot of people who said, who, me? No, not doing it. No, I'm sorry. Fight for your own company. It's not my company, it's your company. Deal with your matters. I'm only your employee. Fix your own issues. And the employee and the managers or the head of those corporations, for the first time, discovered, I don't really have an organizational committed team. I don't. You see, when individuals are doing their 9 to 5, that's not commitment. I'm a Marine. I am a Marine. We do not remove ourselves from posts until relieved. Write that down. That's what commitment is. You do not remove from your post until relieved. If you're guarding Buckingham Palace and you're not committed, what are you going to do? When 9 o'clock comes, you're going to say, I'm done work. And if the person that was supposed to relieve you had an unforeseen circumstance beyond his own personal control, a force majeure, an act of God, that he was unable to be there. He's never been late, but a force majeure. And for some unknown reason, you've been asked, please, would you stay a bit longer? Come on, somebody. Commitment dictates, citizenship dictates, organizational commitment dictates, I got your back. I'm not going to leave this gate from here unmanned. I'm not going to leave my post unguarded. I have to make sure that my post is guarded, is covered. Organizational commitment. A lot of people don't show up for the organization, the team. They don't show up. And 3 days later, they call you. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. I had a really bad day. I had a bad day. I don't even want to talk about it. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many problems you caused me? Do you know that someone ran straight through the gate and rushed into the Queen's room because you were not at your post? Hey, I thought you were there. I was counting on you being there. So you look at yourself. Are you committed to your organization? So we have the organizational dynamic that is very critical to the success of your organization or the organization that you are a part of. Then we have the team dynamic. The team dynamic is a fun dynamic for me. The team commitment is critically important to team success. Though there are other factors for success, commitment is one that is often overlooked. More specifically, teams need 3 forms of commitment to be most successful. Number 1, commitment to each other and each other's success. Number 2, commitment to their team and the team's success. Number 3, commitment to the organization and the organizational goals. You need those areas for success. I'll read them again for you. Team commitment is critically important to team success. Though there are other factors for success, commitment is one that is often overlooked. More specifically, teams need 3 forms of commitment to be most successful. 3 forms of commitment in a team. Number 1, commitment to each other and each other's success. I like Dr. Charles very much. Since Dr. Charles came to the class of Steele, he has improved tremendously. He has even written his own book and he's published his book. Come on. And as a result of that, it is my commitment to him, or our commitment in the class of Steele to him, and his commitment to us, because his testimony makes us and what we do look good. When he testifies, I'm a member of the class of Steele, and being in the class of Steele promoted me and stimulated me and gave me the ideas, the advice, the support, and opened the opportunity for me to complete my book. And I did it. I got it done from being a part of the class of Steele. So his commitment and dedication adds value to us. Then commitment to their team and the team's success. We have a management team in the class of Steele. The management team needs every member of the management to be successful, managing the full body of the class of Steele, the youth and the other initiatives that we are embarking on. We need a full team. Commitment to the organization and organizational goals. I've got 2 more slides. The time is now 15 minutes after the hour of 8, and we're going to be wrapping up shortly. I've got 2 more slides. I think I see the benefits of being committed, and we will bring the benefits of commitment on Friday. So with that being said, I want to appreciate you so much for being in this class. This is a 3-day session. We did the part 1 on Monday, part 2 on Wednesday, and we're going to conclude part 3 on Friday, the benefits of commitment. What are the benefits that we will derive from being committed? I want to say that while I was doing this class, I want to thank Lioness for giving me such a beautiful drive around London, for me seeing outside how lovely it looks. And I was so pleased to see all of that. I think those who are seeing equally were pleased to be just kind of looking at London and driving around. I like that. We have sometimes while individuals are in class and they drive or they walk, but they don't want to miss class. And Lioness, I want to appreciate you for keeping the class of Steele with you, because I know that you're so intrigued. I'm going to ask you to be the first person to speak before we go, because I don't want to interrupt you when you get to your meeting. So go ahead, Lioness. Tell us what it was like for you.
To be honest, if it wasn't interesting, I would have just switched off. And I am somebody, when I come on Zoom, I like to show my face, because that's the purpose of Zoom. We are very far away. So the purpose of Zoom is show your face so that we'll feel like we are close. I'm a leader in my little community, and I encourage, when I call a meeting on Zoom, please put your photos on, so I try to carry that anywhere I go. You could see from where I was to getting into the car and getting to where I'm going. So that shows commitment. Yes. If I wasn't committed, it's my first day. In fact, when I spoke to you, I said, I'll just get in and zoom out, but I couldn't zoom out. I couldn't get out because I was, most of the things said were like, wow, was that what happened? Some recent happenings. I'm now like, okay, the way Chris Rock reacted, okay, yeah. And the way, someone could say Will was right, and but at the end of the day, how you carry yourself, how you react, even to something you're very, it's just honorable. So I have learned a lot. If I can get my hands on all those slides, it will be very, very helpful. So that I'll carry this talk and this lecture. Even my daughter, both of us were listening to it, so I can carry this lecture along. I will need to let others know, understand, because that word commitment is very hefty, it's very heavy. We need to understand it and apply it on our day-to-day basis, job-wise, community-wise, even in the house. Commitment, it goes a long way. So I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Your Majesty, for inviting me, giving me this opportunity to be part of this great group. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Dr. Steele. God bless you.
You are absolutely welcome. Your Majesty, I will allow you to respond. Your Majesty, please respond.
Good evening once again, the class of Steele. I'm honored to be here. And what do I say to the Lioness? She immediately integrates, and I thank God that she enjoyed the evening with us. And it's a great lesson. I told her that there are common words that we think we know, but the way it's being mentored on the platform of class of Steele is a different thing. You get yourself immersed as the mentoring is going on. You start learning how to apply it. Something you think you know, that you have the common knowledge of, you find out that, look, there are areas you're missing. There are areas that you need to improve. And this is what this is the peculiar nature of the class of Steele. So I am like I always say, it's another wonderful evening. The Lioness, you're welcome any day, anytime. We would like to have more time with you on the class of Steele. We would like you to be committed if what you are seeing is quite interesting. So we want more of you, more of your oratory, more of your yeah, you've not really shown yourself. You've not really shown yourself. You're entering. It's like you're just entering the door. But as time goes on, we're going to see the fullness of you. So thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to disappear now. I will join on Friday, God's willing.
Okay, just reserve my plate of soup, off the wall.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye, Lioness.
Bye. Bye.
I
Mm.
want to ask Stephen Abu. Stephen, give us your take on this evening's class, if you will, please.
Good evening, my mentor. Um, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele.
Good
I
evening.
want also to greet, yeah, good evening. I want to greet Her Excellency Jenny Steele and His Royal Highness, um, His Excellency Edwin Madu Ifeanyi Dogeletu. I want to greet the professor in the house, two professors, His Excellency Dr. Donald Yours and Dr. Charles Sunyek. I want to greet also other members in the house, Her Excellency Adola, and all other protocols observed. I think this Her Excellency Jenny Steele is drilling us through a process of refining us, because this commitment is just bringing out, the things. It's like you want to make a meat or a chicken sweet. So you have to immerse it in the stew, in the prepared stew, in the prepared things you want, the ingredient that you want to. As you immerse it, as it gets into it, it begins to, get into the cells and occupy the cells. That's what I'm trying to get. So you're bringing out intricate cases where a commitment is seen. And from what I've just gotten tonight is that commitment is not just doing my 8 hours. Commitment is seeing above, seeing me going the extra mile, getting committed to a cause, getting committed to a challenge. And I began to ask myself, why am I committed? Because you were asking another person to the class of Steele. Am I committed because of a challenge, or am I committed because of a cause? And we're looking at the different types of commitment, the team dynamics, the personal dynamics, and the organizational organization and team, and because the team dynamics form the organizational dynamics, which brings out the effectiveness of the goal. I was looking at that. If the personal commitment is not there, there won't be commitment to ourselves, to the things, the success of ourselves, and then the commitment to the organization that we are all in, to be able to. I was just looking at that perspective. And as my mentor, I was just looking at the scenario, the places I've worked before. And I was looking at my commitment. What was my commitment personally? What were my commitment as a supporting group within them? And what are commitments to the organizational goals? Were we meeting the goals? And it is high bringing out different scenarios. And tonight, I've been quite blessed. And as you said, as the Israel Majesty said, it's not simple word, and you think you know it, but when it's been explained in the class of Steele, it brings out a lot of things that you don't actually know. Thank you, sir. I remain Stephen Abu. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you so very much for your submission, Stephen. Always a pleasure to have you with us in the class of Steele. I want to ask Adiola, Your Excellency Adiola Olukoya, could you share your thoughts on this evening's class on commitment, part 2?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you to all the Excellency in the house. Everyone that I've spoken before me had actually said, what commitment is all about, in addition to what you've said, sir. And, just to add to what has been said, this commitment, just like you said, is in 3 ways, the organizational and the self, and also the other one, there are things that one, when you say you're committed to whatever you're doing, it means you give your whole self to it. Because definitely, as you said it, I know the this part of the scripture kept on coming to my mind, that when you see a man, dutiful in whatever he or she is doing, such a man is not going to stand before mere men. He's going to stand before king. And that's one of the things commitment, does to oneself. When you're committed to whatever cause you're committed to, whatever things you're committed to, you discover that, just like Dr. Donoiwe said, it builds you up. It builds you up as a person, and also even it adds to the organization, or to the group, or wherever you belong to, whatever you're doing, because the impact of your commitment, should be felt by everybody around you. And commitment is not something that you say, okay, I'm giving myself to this because of what I'm going to gain, from it. But what you as a person can also give to the development of that organization, or to the development of the community, or to the development of wherever you find yourself. So commitment is very important. And when you were talking and other people were talking, I was just thinking that commitment is a sacrifice, because sometimes being committed to a thing or to a cause can take away some of your leisure time, some of your time, like you were talking about Dr. Hewes. Dr. Hewes had to sacrifice, he's going to his country to see his people, to go to Dubai, for the program. That's a commitment. It's a lot of commitment, and it's a sacrifice. You understand? And likewise, sometimes, today, I came in very late, but I went to pick my children because they close at 3:20, but they stay for sports. They close at 5:30. Driving from that place, so sometimes I get to my around past 6, before getting things, and I just have to connect to the class of Steele. It's a commitment, although it's something that is not convenient for me, but I know that my being in the class, I'm going to gain, but whoever is talking is going to add value to my life. And my being there is also an encouragement to every member of the class. So commitment is very important, and it's not something that one can put aside. So it's being committed to one's home, committed to one's relationship, committed to one's work is very important. So commitment is something that is required in whatever we do in life, because when we are not committed to anything, then people will not being committed make one to be responsible. That's just the conclusion of the whole thing I'm going to say. Being committed make ones to be responsible. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I remain Adela Lukaya from Jos. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much for your submission, Adiola. I appreciate your comments as well. Well done. I want to ask Dr. Charles, Professor Charles, please share your thoughts on this evening's class.
Yeah, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele, and Her Excellency, Dr. Jenny Steele, and the rest of the excellencies in the house, most especially Your Royal Highness, Your Excellency, sir, and Your Excellency, Dr. Donald Ewes. One thing I'm going to talk only on two, because I know others have given a very beautiful take in this commitment. I want to talk about team dynamism, being committed to each other. I believe in teamwork, that commitment is all about having others people's back, watching the members of the team's back. I remember what happens when we were in school. I think it was in the final year. So the lecturer or the instructor decided to maltreat us. So one day we came to the workshop, and one of us just took the electrode we were supposed to use to do that, the project, and went and hid it. because we didn't want to do that project. So the instructor went and reported us to the HOD, and they asked us, the HOD told us, I will dismiss all of you. Just tell me the person that put away the electrode so that I will dismiss him alone. He gave us 15 minutes to go and talk. So when we went, somebody said, we better tell him who did it. I told him there is no way. I know about management. No management will ever dismiss or sack a whole class. It's better we bear the consequences together, and we should not give up one of ourselves. So when we did this, after a long time, I think it's over 20-something years now. And then I watched a military training where a soldier committed an offense, and the rest of the troop was punished for 3 weeks, only to give up and say it was this guy that did this so that they will dismiss him from the army. In the end, the general called them and told them, you have all passed this course, because it shows that you will never leave your comrade. So I believe that commitment is all about having each other's back. Like you told me when I entered the class of Steele after the draining, after you drained me, you told me, wherever, anywhere, if anybody, I have your back. If anybody, but don't go and mess with your government and look for their trouble. But if anyone messes with you, they have me to contend with. I believe that is commitment, teamwork. And I got that. In fact, Dr. Steele, that was one of the most reasons why I got committed, because I made a vow within myself not to cease to watch the back of somebody that watches my back. That is commitment. And you talk about commitment, organizational dynamics. It is only a wicked man or Judas Iscariot that will go and buy the finger that feeds him. If we don't get committed from where we have our bread or where our destiny is tied to, it means that we must have been lunatics. So if you plot the downfall of the organization from where you are fed, it then means you intentionally want to go hungry. And please, I'm coming again. That is what I have against African leaders. You go and you plot the downfall of the nation that you are from. What do you expect us to do? Clap for you. And you siphon the economy and go and back it abroad and travel with your children. You shut down schools and fly your children abroad to go and school where they don't go on strike. You create strike here and then fly your children abroad. That is what we have against them, lack of commitment. But a commitment is what you talked about, a soldier, a marine that does not quit until relieved. You don't say my time is up, therefore I leave the nation unguarded for the enemy. Once it's 6 o'clock, I don't see somebody relieving me, therefore I got to shut down the security and go. Thank you, sir, because from this lecture, I got a lot of things, and I put it into the ones I know, the ones I did not know, I add as well to make me a better committed person. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much, Professor Charles. One of the things that I will add to what you shared, if I may, in humility, is sometimes you find that if you're carrying a load and somebody is not carrying their weight, you get to the place where you says no, because there's a level that I want to talk about, and it is also that part where you have to let go, because otherwise you will hurt yourself very badly. And any organization where there is not individuals who carry their weight, you'll have problems. Equally, I'm a person that I say this: if I say I have your back, I have your back. But if I discover you don't have mine, and I discover you're undermining and injuring me, then I will stop having your back. I might not say to others that you stabbed me in my back, but surely I will not have your back. And I think it is only fair, because life is all about carrying your own weight, carrying your own commitment, carrying your own responsibility, carrying your own part of the team. And everybody has a part of the team to carry. And if you don't carry any part, but the team is lifting you, you're not a part of the team. You're not a part. You're just being carried. And I hope that you in the class will still remember that it's mutual. You carry your weight and somebody carry yours when you can't carry your own, because it's a team. I see Stephen, I see you put your hand back up again. I'll unmute you. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yes, Your Excellency. I appreciate starting the discussion, sir. I wanted to ask, what are the indices for the indices to measure commitment? I looked at the scenario you gave about the COVID time and the situation that happened. Most workers said they couldn't carry on because it's not their, they don't have commitment to the organizations they were working in. And they gave up and said, no, we cannot work from home. A lot of them and all that. So how many companies fell just within the COVID time, 2 years, within 1.5 years, 2 years? A lot of companies that fell because there were no commitment. They thought they had committed staff. And so they didn't have. So they didn't have much, maybe 1 or 2. So were they able to go through these times or did they sink and all that? So what are the indices to know about persons who are committed? That's one. Then two, the second thing is I want to ask is, which the professor, Dr. Nietzsche said, I think our current leaders are not committed to us. And these are the situations we are finding ourselves. And I don't like to be political most of the time because it gives me, but as a leader, I must say that if we are committed and we have each other's back and we are going to an organizational goal, we are happy that somebody else is successful because ours is on the way and all that. We will look forward to a country where we want everybody to grow in, to have equal rights and equal responsibilities in it. But we are not doing that now. And this is causing a whole lot of things within the Nigerian setup, and which we are being implanted to help to alleviate. In this scenario, that persons in authorities and down the lines in government are not committed to the cause, and a whole lot of sectors, in the educational sectors, in the economic sectors, things are not going right. As a leader, what should I do in these times? Thank you, sir. I'm grateful. Sorry for asking the questions late, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Dr. Charles, I think I'll let you answer yours first, and then I'll answer the one you asked of me. Go ahead, Dr. Charles.
Sir, Your Excellency, what did you ask me to do?
Oh, Dr. Charles, you were not listening to Stephen Abu inquiring and asking you a question. He asked 2 questions. One was to me and one was to you.
Please give me the one for me again, because
no, I will not do that. This is the first time you're missing your opportunity for not paying attention in class. I will not do that. You have missed your opportunity. Don't point your finger. I'm the mentor.
Okay, let me take one of the questions I had him.
No, you cannot answer my question. I will answer my own question. My question was number 1 and yours was number 2. I will answer my own question.
Thank you, sir. You are the boss.
I will answer my question number 1, and you will try to figure out when you watch the video, what was your question number 2.
Okay, sir.
And I hope that you will pay more closer attention to other people when they are speaking, because they might be speaking to you.
I did, but I thought the question was going to the Oga at the top.
But you still didn't even know what the question is anyway. So that's not correct.
The question he asked is that in a situation like this, what are we going to do as leaders when the government is not committed?
Answer the question then.
Yeah, exactly. You know, one thing I believe is that, like you said, that 2 wrongs cannot make a right. Sometimes we try to show them by doing the correct thing, even we know that they are not committed, though it can affect us, it can affect our moral, how do I put it, our moral upbringing and the rest, our feelings. But if we know that we are not going to be like them, then we will get committed. If a job is given you, you do it the right way and the rightly, then they themselves will still come. Sometimes they will become afraid of you. They may say, "Oh, no, you want to tell me that you are the excellent person in this place and this." But believe you me, the same people, when they sit on their echelon and they are discussing, they say, if you want something done and done right and honestly, go to so person. I have seen them do that, even in their corruption. I remember there was one governor we had one time, and the rest of the people around him came. They said that one problem they have with this guy is that he will not embezzle, and he will not allow another person to embezzle. So let us play the game and not embezzling until he leaves office. And of course, when he left office, they began to embezzle. And nobody called him and said, we want to prosecute you for anything. Like the governor in my state that left before the one that entered now left. Even he belongs to a different party, yet the ruling party could not get financial crime tribunal to accost him for anything. Because when he entered, he worked. And he had up to more than 100 billion left in the treasury when he left, which nobody has ever left that kind of money. So they have nothing to hold him for. So it is really good to do good, even though you are being dealt badly. Number one is for your personality, the protection of your personality. So I don't believe in joining the multitude to do wrong. Some people say, if you cannot beat them, join them. No, if I cannot beat them, I will do the one my conscience permits me to do. I do the right thing. It is left for them to throw me out or to allow me to do the work. Thank you, Your Excellency. I hope I tried.
You have tried. You have done well. You have done well. You've done nobly. And I want to appreciate you, Professor Charles. Stephen, thank you for your questions. And I will answer your question that you asked of me, the first question, which are, what are the indices? How can you gauge if a person is committed or not? You can't. There's no rule. There's no rule, because you see, the dynamics of commitment create some environments that we need to understand. If I'm committed to the class of Steele, there is a reason. If I am no longer here, there is a reason. What are the dynamics? Why am I no longer here? What happened? And if I'm no longer here as a result of some thoughts or things that when you look at them, they're reasonable grounds. because a lot of times individuals would want to label a person. You treat a person bad, horrible. There are no incentives. There's no good relationship. There's no pleasure in what they do other than a salary at the end of the month. Surely, if something better comes along, that person is not going to be committed. If you're in a relationship and in the relationship, the person does not get what they're looking for. I've been married and divorced, and that's a part of my journey. And surely my partners did not get what they were looking for. And they chose to go in a different direction. Sure, they were not committed, but on the other side of the coin, how do you gauge their lack of commitment? Is their lack of commitment meaning that they're not committed, or is it meaning that they were not satisfied and they implemented other measures to bring them satisfaction? So you have to look at each scenario individually, and you can't gauge a person's commitment based on your assessment or your blueprint or your ledger. It's not possible. So whenever a person is lacking in commitment to anything, there is a reason. There is a reason. Just like when we looked at the commitment aspect where there's a cause, the lack thereof, there is a cause. There is a cause why the person is not committed. Now, the justification of it, the strength of it, the value of it determines whether or not the person is just an uncommitted person. For example, if a person is in a job, they have good perks, they have the access to the boss that they respect, and the boss respects them, they're paid well, and they're looked after very well, and just because of other people's mouths, they're undermining the company, and they don't want to look bad to other people, but they're making the company look bad, and then they're abandoning the company because other people are abandoning the company or don't want them to be there, then that person is lacking in commitment. Clearly, they're lacking in commitment, because commitment, as it is a mutual thing, the part of the boss or the part of the organization is being fulfilled. The organization is doing what it said it would do, how it said it would do it, when it said it would do it, for the reason it said it would do it. And the person that is in the organization that decides to go their own way for whatever reason is lacking in commitment. Maybe because they get in too deep, or maybe because they don't want to any longer, maybe because something better came up, but they lack in commitment. They dare replace themselves with somebody else. They leave a good testimony that when they're going, they can get an ethical sign off. For example, I was a member of, or should I say I am, a member of the People's Cathedral in Barbados. That's my home church. I was baptized on the 18th of March, 2009. Gosh, it's so long, I can't even remember. Oh my goodness. I can't even remember. Lord, forgive me for my memory block. The 18th of March, 1993. The 18th of March, 1993, I think that's what it is. 18th of March, 1993 is when I was baptized. I rededicated my life the 4th of November, 1992, and I went through the confirmation classes, did the training, etc., and I was baptized officially on the 18th of March, 1993. And from that date and that time, I remained committed. The church had many splits and many persons left and went to other churches and all of that, but it never bothered me. They had issues about the pastors, the bishops, the ministers. They had issues about organizing, all sorts of, but it never bothered me. Why? Because that's where I was planted, and I respect the foundation that I stood on. So I remained committed. And it's not about what you get or what you don't get. It's a matter of who are you as a person? Are you a committed person or are you not? So you can't gauge that long-winded discourse to say you cannot gauge or you should not personally gauge a person and point the finger at them and says you're not a committed person, you are blah, blah, blah. No, the circumstances surrounding it are what needs to be gauged to say whether or not they are or are not. And equally, chances are, if you get to hear their side of the story, why they're no longer there, they might be justified. Stephen, I hope I answered your question. All right, I see Bella. Bella, I see you in and out of the class of Steele. I'm not sure what you get or what you got from this class because I know you came late, but I still want to give you an opportunity to lend your voice to the class, Bella. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Steele. Good evening.
Good evening, Bella.
I'm sorry for coming in late and being on an office network here. It's not clear. Can you hear me?
We're not hearing you clearly. I think you have the same thing with that microphone with the cable that you're having.
Okay. Let me try that.
Much better?
Aha, much better. Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so happy to be here tonight. Yeah, I came late, but I was focusing so that I can get a point of the topic tonight. So you're talking about commitment, and His Excellency, maybe you'll come here in my country and teach my people about commitment. They are not committed at all. At all. They can get a job and they're not committed to do it. My goodness, what is my country? My country people are so worse when it comes to commitment about doing something, either relationship, either life, either jobs and all those things. No. They are not committed to it. And it is affecting most of African countries because in a developing thing way. So because of no one is committed to do something, they can show that they want to do it first, they want to do it, but commitment of staying, like do something with all your effort, staying there in one direction is a problem. They divide so much. They can stay in this direction. When someone is there, they vetted. They are going somewhere else. But commitment, oh my goodness. Dr. Michael Steele, what I can say, can you please come to Uganda and teach my people about commitment? So they will change and they become someone else, something else. Because in my country, commitment is a big problem, a big one. They don't do it. They are not committed. And it's complicated and it is painful because it is delaying us from developing. It is delaying us in doing a lot of things because you can be able to do something and you are capable of doing it, but because of lack of commitment, you stop it on the way. But it's all about commitment that we can achieve small or big goals in our life. Even if it's losing weight, if you don't commit to work out and diet, you cannot make it. You cannot. Even if it's coming to class of Steve, if you don't say, let me go, you are not going to be here. So actually our life, it's all about what we committed ourselves to do. It's what makes us. If you say that I'm going to read this book, if you're not committed to read it, then you're not going to read it. Nothing can happen. So if you're not committed to say, let me change my life, let me change how I feel, let me change, let me do this for myself, let me do this for my community. If you're not committed, you cannot do it. So thank you, Dr. Michael Steele, for this topic tonight. I love to be in the class of Steele so much, but I've been having some challenges. But anytime I've got my chance to be on YouTube, I thank you, Dr. Michael Steele, for posting, for updating videos on YouTube, because for us who miss the classes, we get our time and you go and you watch and you learn and you relearn. It is helping us so much. Thank you so much. Even if I was not on the page, but my heart is always in the class of Steele. If I get time, I go and watch what I've missed, because this is where we get knowledge, and nothing is beautiful in this world like knowledge. Knowing something is gold. It is everything. When you have knowledge, even in the Bible, God says that my people are dying because of lack of knowledge. It wasn't sin, it was lack of knowledge. Because when you don't know something, you really don't, you cannot do anything when you don't know what to do. But thank you, Dr. Michael Steele, for bringing out this topic of commitment. I think this time I'm committed to lose weight, so I'm going to focus and make sure I do it. I gave myself 3 months to lose weight, so I'm going to be committed to it, reading books and knowing everything. So hopefully I'm not going to miss classes again, but by my wish, wherever I'm able to be here, I'll be here. And thank you so much, Dr. Charles. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Adiola. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Your Majesty. May God bless you all, class of Steele. I love you so much. I love you, Jenny. I know you're there listening. May God bless you all. I'm so happy to be here tonight. Thank you so much, His Excellency, for the opportunity to talk to you. Good evening.
Thank you so very much, Bella. Come on, let's celebrate her and her challenge. She's not alone. Nobody's alone when you're in the class of Steele. First Lady Jeannie, do you want to respond, my dear?
Pleasant good evening to everyone. Always so happy to be here. Always so happy to see your faces. You're always so bright in the class of Steele, and it's amazing. And I'm sure we inspire, well, people don't see my face much or at all at times, but I am sure we are inspiring many people around the world, many people in our communities, even with our presence physically and here in the class of Steele. And I am truly happy and blessed to be a part of such a cause. You know, it's beautiful. And, you know, I love it. Bella, you're welcome. I am happy that you've been able to make it this evening. It's very good hearing you. It's very good hearing your voice. I trust that your family is well. And yeah, my blessings to you all. This is truly a good topic for this time. It's quite broad as we continue to look at it. Without commitment, we really can't achieve anything much. So it's really important for all of us to pay attention to it and to practice being committed. God bless you all and your families. I look forward to seeing you on Friday, and have a good evening.
Thank you so very much, my dear, for your comments and your undying support for the class of Steele, and for me as the mentor when I'm up studying all hours of the morning, and you're there with me, and I call His Majesty and myself are on the phone at 4 a.m. until this almost the sunrise, and all of the things that we find ourselves doing to keep the class of Steele going. It's about commitment. And I want to appreciate all of you that are here. Without you, there's no class of Steele. Without you, there's no point in my being here. And I want to say one thing, Bella, Aliola, all of you that have the concern for your country, I'll tell you the truth. That's why I started the class of Steele, because I observed myself. I saw what was there, and I was there for on many occasions. And I observed some of the things that I thought, okay, let me see if I can add value, if I can help, if I can share openly, transparently, without fear, and maybe a few will change, a few will be different, and they will add value to the ecosystem of the development of your country, your economy, and your governments. Maybe a few of your government ministers, if we get one or two or three of them that we say, hey, let's have a chat and see how we can add value. Remember, the world is changed one person at a time. Personal development. And you are responsible for you. But if you so much think the rest of the world needs it, don't sit down and wish and cry and hope. It's here. Take them, bring them. That's how it works. Don't see water at a well in the middle of a desert and cry and complain. Oh, Aaron, this well is so lovely. The water here is so nice. And then you stood there, you're drinking. Oh, that water is so lovely. I absolutely enjoy that water. And then you thought, oh, the people back home, I wish that they knew this well was here. I wish they could taste of this water. I wish. Well, the well can't get up and go to your village. The well can't get up and go to your community. Surely Aaron is going to stand and manage the well. It is your duty to tell them the well is here and bring them to the well. I'm His Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele. Thank you so very much for being in the class of Steele. I want to wish you a wonderful evening and a wonderful remainder of the week. Good Friday is upon us. Friday is Good Friday. I don't know who is going to be joining us on Good Friday, but if you are very welcome to join us. I will still be here. I'm committed. And it's a Good Friday. What better place to be than in the class of Steele, doing that which I have been sent here and commissioned to do on the earth. I want to say a special thank you to His Royal Majesty Edwin Maju for being here this evening. Again, Your Majesty, an absolute pleasure. And equally, thank you for bringing your lovely guest, Lioness, to be with us. It was such a pleasure as we look forward to the things that we are going to be doing together in the coming weeks and months. I want to say thank you to Adiola, Dr. Charles, Stephen, Bella, all of you who were here, First Lady, every person that made it to class this evening, Chuka, Mika, everybody, thank you for being in class this evening. I thank you so very much to our guests that watch us and like us on YouTube and our social media platforms. And I look forward to the next class. See you on Friday when we bring the final aspect of commitment. What are the benefits of commitment? And that will be on our final class on Friday that we will bring with you on a Good Friday. Good evening and God bless you. Bye for now. Good evening, Your Majesty.
Good night, yes. Good night, sir.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, good night, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Your Majesty, I'm going to give you a call.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Dr. Charles, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good night.
Good evening.
Good evening, little buddy.
How are you?